Chip prices are going up. Unlike my stocks, we're also seeing a semiconductor manufacturing company that just reported their monthly numbers, and the demand is still there. The year-over-year growth that they saw is insane. We're also going to discuss the chip shortage update, and more importantly, if you are a long-term investor, I have a pretty cool graph that I want to show you. All this on today's episode. If this is your first time here, make sure to hit the thumbs up, make sure to hit the subscribe button, check out the pinned comment for free Discord, free newsletter, and a lot of great investing links. So let's get started. All jokes aside, it has been a scary time for long-term investors, right? And I'm right there with you guys, kind of experiencing this pain. And I want to say, unfortunately, these times are good for those that don't pull out of the market and don't kind of give up on the market. And I'm going to show you guys some graphs. I feel like every time we hear about these crazy downturns, right, we always hear of that long-term mentality. Hey, if you know Amazon, you know Apple, all dropped over 90% at one point, and now look at the levels they're at. And I mean, I personally hate to hear about those big tech companies because I'm like, yes, even though maybe 10 years ago, Amazon and Apple aren't the companies they were before, they were probably still big giants at the moment. So instead, today I wanted to actually showcase some other companies, right? Some random names and how they have fared with stock prices. And here I have Autodesk, Take-Two Interactive, Nvidia, and Netflix. And we can take a quick look. All these, I mean, Nvidia is nowhere near the company it is right now. Take-Two Interactive was nowhere near the gaming company it is now. Autodesk was nowhere near the kind of software company it is. And Netflix, I mean, they were trying to fight Blockbuster around that time, right? So we can see all these stocks at one point have dropped over 75% at some point, and they all reach all-time highs. So this graph actually showed me two things, and two different things. The first thing that it tells me is if I'm a long-term investor, I'm going to be okay, right? Especially if the companies that I'm in are in strong markets that I believe will continue to grow over time and not just some random, right, speculative play. The second thing, and this is one that I think I really realized once I look at this chart. Unfortunately, it seems like long-term investors are going to be okay, but it does take some time for us to be okay. It's not something that's going to be fixed in a week. It's not something that's going to be fixed in a month. And the one thing that I feel I've been trying to really fight is trying to unload a lot of cash at once and trying to buy as much stock as possible. But if historical information kind of shows us, and let me just pick one, let me just go with maybe Nvidia and Autodesk here. One thing that it shows me is that as long-term investors, I don't need to rush in right now and buy so much. I will have time to kind of be able to purchase on these opportunities. Obviously, we can continue to see stock prices continue to go down, and unfortunately that sucks. But that suckness comes with a blessing, and it's the opportunities. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and keep listening for this great offer we have for the community. The Motley Fool is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. You all know how much I love researching new stocks and trying to find the next best investments. So I'm proud to partner with the Motley Fool to bring you a discount for one of my favorite services the Fool offers, the Motley Fool Stock Advisor. Go to fool.com/Jose to sign up and get access to a ton of expert stock picks. Every month you'll get 2 new picks that are aimed at growing your wealth and to help you realize your financial goals. Stock Advisor has been a market-beating service. So what are you waiting for? Thanks again for the Motley Fool. Now on to today's points. All right, so that's enough with that. Now let's take a closer look at what we have in today's episode. So first I want to take a quick look at TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing. This is a company that manufactures chips for some of the big names that I mentioned. Apple, Nvidia are some of its customers. The stock has taken quite a hit. Today was down 1.1%, not that big, but we can see from its 52-week high, the stock is down over 37%, and it currently pays a nice dividend yield of 2.1% at the moment. So it's looking good, I believe, in both growth perspective and some form of dividend if you want to play it. This is a company that shares their monthly report, and they recently shared their April 2022 numbers. And look at this. Their year-over-year growth is up 55%. I believe this is insane. If we take a look at their January to April numbers, so that's the past 4 months, that's up 40% compared to the same time last year. So the demand for chips are still there. And we took a quick look at their most recent earnings a few weeks back, and we saw what markets are driving this. The high performance computing, things like data centers, there's strong growth in the automotive market as well. And there's still a huge kind of, even though it's not growing, there's still a huge kind of demand in forms of revenue from the overall tablets and kind of phone industry. So that's an interesting thing I want to say, and to me this shows me great news for the semiconductor company. The second thing I want to mention about TSMC is, according to Nikki, I believe I pronounced that incorrectly, and I'm pretty sure I'll get that in the comments, but they have been reports that TSMC has started to reach out to their customers, some of those big players like Nvidia, like Apple, and telling them that they are going to start increasing their prices. The prices are going to depend, the price increase are going to depend on the sizes of the chips. We see like 7 nanometers, 5 nanometers, but it'll be somewhere between 5 to 8%. Obviously, this is not only because of all inflations and kind of labor intense increase in wages and stuff like that, but another thing is TSMC is obviously spending a lot of money to develop some of this new technology, right? They're spending a lot of money on inventory, on equipment. For example, on this year alone, they expect to spend about $40 to $44 billion alone on fabs and new equipment. And they go to their companies and customers and say, hey, you guys want us to make the best chips for you? Well, you guys need to help us out with some of the equipment costs. You guys need to help us out with some of these fabs costs. And we are increasing our prices for about 5 to 8%. And right now, TSMC is definitely a leader in this space where they have the pricing power to be able to do this. So very interesting there. Finally, I just wanted to take a quick look at Nvidia. Today, the stock was down about 5.48%. I'm definitely not opening my portfolio, right? This is one of my top holdings. This is one of my favorite companies at the moment. I'm not planning on adding Nvidia this week, but next week, you better watch it, Nvidia. You better stay at these prices or maybe even go lower to give me even more opportunity. Nvidia right now, like I mentioned, down a nice amount. This is a company that I just can't, I mean, sitting at $416 billion market, a huge player. Obviously, I can see that market cap go lower, but in the next 5 years, this is a company that I can see this market cap be a lot larger. So Nvidia is one of those companies I don't mind purchasing at these levels right now. And now it's getting at the levels that I don't care that it's already a big portion of my portfolio. With the type of valuation that is sitting right now, one, I'm getting excited. And like I mentioned, not this week, but next week. I also want to just take a quick look at their GPU prices right now. The one I'm really following is the RTX 3070 Ti. This one's supposed to MSRP at about $600. Right now it's sitting at $749, so it's still a little bit of a premium, but we see prices going down. I do want to say I was thinking of adding a new graphics card, but now I'd rather probably add onto Nvidia instead of buying new graphics cards. So I just kind of wanted to showcase this on today's episode. I hope that graph helped a little bit in the long-term set mentality, and I hope everybody's doing well. Take care, have a good day, and just know I don't know if it's any consultation or helps at all, but I'm there feeling the pain with a lot of you guys. But for me, that long-term mentality of dollar cost averaging, investing on a weekly basis, and buying companies that I believe have a bright future for the next 5 years. Take care, good day, and see you next time.